The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, thanks very much for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn webinar on Healthmail prescriptions in Socrates. My name is Donald O'Neill, I'm the Head of Marketing for Clonwilliam Health, and with me as always I have Louise Murray, our support team lead for Socrates. So again, today's format is very straightforward, pretty much what we always do. Louise is going to run through a demo of the new functionality for sending prescriptions, and we will take as many questions as we can once Louise has finished the demo. If anyone has a question, if you look on the right hand side of your screen, there should be a sort of a toolbar for the system, and down about halfway down the page on the right hand side it says questions. Literally type your question in there, they'll come through directly to myself and I will put them to Louise once she's finished her demo. So look, I think without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Louise, who is going to run through the new functionality for you all.
Thanks, Donald. Can you hear me there?
Yep.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. Let's get started with this. It's going to make your life a lot easier. So the first thing is you can only be a doctor when you're doing this. When a doctor, you need to be on version at least 2721, so you'll be able to see up at the top left-hand corner if you're on that version or not. If not, you'll be getting it in the next few days, because we're going to start rolling it out to everyone. It just takes time. So when you get the update, then you'll also need to have your Healthmail email address and password at hand. So some doctors have their own individual ones. So each doctor in a surgery has their own each individual one. If they have that, just get them to have note of that and the password. Then if each individual doctor doesn't have their own one, usually you have a practice email. So surgery@healthmail.ie, whatever it is, you can use that as well. So the first thing is, what you do is you go into the patient's chart like normal, begin a consultation like normal. You go to the to print section and you see a list of all the prescriptions that the person might need to be on or is on. So you want to send this off to the pharmacy basically. So here I have 2 drugs, and if I needed to add in more drugs, I can, like normal. So you highlight your prescriptions and click print. The normal window comes up asking you what exactly do you need. Do you need 1 month, 2 month, repeat, whatever it is you choose. If you need to do a 3 month, you click 3 month. And down here at the bottom, my particular patient has an invalid GMS number, and it's kind of letting me know that that's the way it normally is. So here I'm just going to click on ignore. And as you can see, underneath that, there's the 3 buttons. There's a new one there called Healthmail RX, there's print, and there's close. So if you were just doing a normal prescription that you want to send to the printer, you click the print button. If you want to send the prescription via Healthmail, you click on the Healthmail RX, and then this window comes up. So this is the reason why you need to get the doctor to make sure that they know what their Healthmail email address and password is. So from here, you just leave this as is, and the username is their email address. So I have an example email address, and I just fill it in, type it out, and then I'm going to put in my password. And I'm going to, just for this example, I'm going to put in an incorrect password. So it's important to know that you have your username, and it has to contain @healthmail.ie. So if you can't just put in the name of the doctor or whatever your normal email address is without the healthmail.ie. That's important. People are getting caught on that. They're not putting in the full email address. So if I click on save now, this is not going to work for me because I haven't put in the correct password. So this message comes up, authentication unsuccessful. So if that happens, you just need to press the button again, and then it will come up asking you again for your Healthmail email address and password. So all you have to do, if that comes up again, is don't click save again, because the reason why it'll keep coming up for you is because there's something wrong in either the username or the password. So the password, I'm going to put in the correct one now. So let's see. What is it?
Don't call out the password.
I'll call out the password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And on this, Louise, is this something presumably you just set this up once and then it's okay, or?
Exactly, yeah. So you just fill this in one time. It'll come up again if, for example, that you outside of the system reset your Healthmail email address or reset your Healthmail password, then it'll ask you to fill that in there again. So just take note, if you ever do reset your Healthmail password, that this is going to cause a little bit of a problem inside the system until you put it into that as well, like this.
And if anybody has issues with remembering their Healthmail username or their email address, they're best to get on to Healthmail directly, is it?
Yeah, so say if they don't know what their Healthmail password is, for example, they can just go on to healthmail.ie, and I'm nearly sure that they can say remember or reset my password.
From there, okay.
If you can't, yeah, mine is just remembered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to reset it from there. Most people at this stage will have their Healthmail email address handy and their password because they've been using it a lot recently.
Sure.
Just using it, sending off the prescriptions just a bit of a more longer way. So I'm going to click save here with the correct details filled in there. Now that's not going to come up for me again because I filled it in. Now if another doctor logs on for the first time to do a Healthmail prescription, then they'll have to fill it in. After that, they won't have to do it again. So from here, what it's doing is it's loading all the pharmacies that have a Healthmail email address, and it's bringing, this is our test database of pharmacies. So all you have to do is, there is the address, it knows that I'm here. This is our office. So if we know the name of the pharmacy, you can look for the name of it. Now, for example, an example like Boots, I wouldn't go looking for the word Boots because there's loads of Boots around Ireland. You don't need to look for Boots. So the best way I have found is that if I look for the village that I'm in or the town or the street of the pharmacy, then you can look for it. So if I look for Sligo, it will return the Sligo ones.
Sure. So
if a patient says, right, I want to go to this Boots test pharmacy here, you just click on that pharmacy and say okay. And this window will disappear in a moment. And it's a bit slow on my side because it just is. So now that's it gone. Very straightforward. I'll just show you what's after happening. So nothing is printed off. And if I look under the to print section, I can see here over on the right hand side, I have dispensed and there's a Healthmail button. So if I click on the Healthmail button, it's after telling me that this prescription has been sent to Boots Pharmacy by the doctor, Joe Bloggs. And also, if I go to the printed section, I can see there's a little sort of envelope beside it over on the right, sent via Healthmail. So if I click on that, I can see that it was sent to Boots Sligo at this time, this date, and it was sent by Joe Bloggs. So there's a record that it was sent. So I'll just show you here now again. There's one other thing. So if I was, let's just say this is a few months later and I need to give the patient a prescription again. I want to highlight, reissue the items like I would normally. I would just say okay with that. And then I would highlight the prescriptions like normal, click print. And this comes up the same thing. And over here on the left-hand side, it says nominated pharmacy, and it says Boots Sligo, because the last time that Joe Bloggs, the patient Joe Bloggs, or John Bloggs, sorry, got a prescription sent via the system, it went to Boots Sligo. So if the patient says, you know what, I'm actually not going to go to this particular pharmacy this time around, I'm going to go to a different one down the road, then if you clicked on Healthmail RX, what will happen is it'll go straight to Boots Sligo. So if the patient decides, I'm going to go somewhere else, before the doctor clicks on Healthmail RX, he or she would need to click on nominated pharmacy and choose another pharmacy that the patient has decided to go to the other pharmacy. Yeah, so I'm going to double click on that. And then you click on Healthmail RX, and now it will go to the nominated pharmacy, Healthmail or Higgins Pharmacy. And obviously before that you would choose how many issues, etc., like normally you would want. And then click Healthmail RX, and now the prescription is gone to the Healthmail address of Higgins Pharmacy. So if a person is worried that their prescriptions aren't going, if they want to see what's after happening, The best way of doing it is to, if they have their Healthmail inside their Outlook, open that up and look at their sent items, or go into the Healthmail website like we did there a moment ago. In here, you can see this is just our Healthmail test account. And from here, if I look under the sent items, I can see here, this is the prescription that we just sent here a moment ago. If I double click on it, I can, it doesn't matter how to do it, mine is just a little bit slow. So over here on the right hand side, you can see this is our address, the name of the patient, prescription, and down here at the bottom it automatically it fills in the medical council number of the doctor and who sent it off. And that's how we know that it's sent, and that's the copy that the pharmacy has sent, and that is sufficient enough. It's got all the information that you need. It's even here, it says GMS number, that's what we have on record, but that's not what it's saying. That we check the validity, it doesn't seem to be right. So the pharmacy know that there's just to double check it. And if they're a private patient, this GMS number will not come up at all. It will it just won't be there. There's one other thing that I want to show you on this is if there's some people that are using eScript, so Healthmail, you can use that as is. If you are also using eScript, eScript you can use. The only thing is you need to also give a copy of the prescription to the pharmacy. So Healthmail will work for this too. The benefit of using eScript is it's not more for you, it's more for the pharmacy and for the patient themselves. Because when you use eScript, what happens is, depending on what software the pharmacy is using, some pharmacies, if I was to send these two to a particular pharmacy via eScript, what will happen is it will link up with their pharmacy software, and they'll know to dispense these certain drugs for this patient, so they can get the prescription ready, and then at the same time, the patient will get after that the patient will get a text to say, come get your prescription. So it's more a benefit for the pharmacy and the patient as opposed to yourself. So if you do use eScript, I've turned it off just for this example, but I'm going to turn it back on. Not everyone has eScript enabled, and I turned it off on mine just before we started. So I'm going to pretend that we use eScript. So my control panel, my profile, consent, and this Dr. Joe Bloggs has consented for eScript. So I'm clicking on save there. So if I go into a patient, I'm just going to go into Mary Bloggs. Oh, wrong way around. Her surname is Bloggs. Mary. And I'm going to go into this patient here. So this works the exact same way. The only thing is, if I go into the begin a consultation here, go to the prescription section, highlight the prescriptions that you need for this particular patient, print, choose how many issues you want, and this here is ticked now for this particular patient, or now it's turned on for the doctor. So send via eScript is also ticked, so you can use both of them at the same time. So if you don't have eScript, you don't have to turn it on if you don't want to. If you do, I'm showing this example for people that use it. So if I click on Healthmail RX, works the exact same way. I choose the pharmacy that I want to send to, same way, click OK, and then this is the consent for eScript coming up. So what you do is, this is the mobile number of the patient that's coming up. You say yes to that. And then that's gone both ways. It's sent it via Healthmail and also sent it using eScript. So you can tell when you go into the printed section, you can see if I click on this little E for eScript, if I click on that, it informed us that it's sent via eScript, and then down here at the bottom, it's also sent a copy via Healthmail. So if you have eScript, you can continue to use it. and you can use it in collaboration with Healthmail, the Healthmail RX button. So you can use both of them at the same time. And if you don't want to use eScript, you don't have to, because it'll just, if you don't use it, it won't be there. And you can just use the Healthmail RX button. So you can use both of them or one or the other.
Great. I suppose that just kind of depends on sort of preferences and what works best for everyone, the pharmacy, the GP, the patient, etc., you know. And I think the main thing is that the actual prescription has gone by Healthmail, which is what's legally required for the pharmacy to dispense as well, regardless, you know.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it. I'm not 100% sure if there's any questions on it.
No, we got one in, but you had answered it by the time it came in. So good job. If anyone has any questions, just pop them in. Oh, here's one that just landed. Will Healthmail be integrated with patient notes in Socrates? For example, emails from hospital consultants, etc., to go straight into patient notes like investigations, etc.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? Is it if they're sent via Healthmail, is it?
So
From a hospital?
will Healthmail be integrated with patient notes in Socrates? So, for example, if an email from a hospital consultant, could that go straight into a patient notes in the same way that investigations would?
No, not notes, but it does link with your documents. So normally when you get a document via Healthmail, it was put in a few versions back, where you would normally, what you would do is you go open up the email, download the file that's attached to it, like a letter or whatever it is, and then attach it in to the system. But a few versions back, we incorporated it so that when you go to the document section, you normally click attach file, but the new button that was put in is to the right of attach file called attach Healthmail. And what it does is it opens up the files that are in your Healthmail email that has attachments in it. So if someone sent me an email to our Healthmail email address, and there's no attachment, it just says, hello, this is an email, I won't see this in the list. But if someone sends me an email saying, hello, this is an email, and they attach a file into it, then I will see it in this list. So then what happens is this here comes up as a list. This is just test stuff. It's not important. So in here, I just go and I double click on this here, and then it'll attach that into the system. That is just not proper information, so it's not letting me attach it. But that's the concept. If you have a letter in an email in Healthmail, then you can attach that in. You can do that whether you're a doctor or if you are anyone, admin, nurse, anybody. It'll just ask you similar sort of screen like it was for when you're logged on as a doctor doing that Healthmail RX button for the first time. There's a little window that comes up that asks you for your Healthmail email address and password. So if you fill that in there on this here, that's a similar window that will pop up. You fill that in and then you should be good to go. But not to notes, but it will go into documents if you have it linked up.
Okay, great. And another question in just around the timelines of when we can get this into our system. So the rollout is ongoing at the moment, and we're trying to get it to everyone as quick as we can. But Louise, what would you say?
Yeah. I would say between this week and next week, we'll have most customers on that version. So we're sending out large chunks of it. So our pilot sites went well, and they like it, and it's a lot quicker. And I'd say everyone on the phone probably or on this call probably agrees that it's a lot quicker and easier to do than the way that it was being done. So yeah, we're doing it as quick as we can. We just can't send it all out at once because updates just don't always go 100%. We need
we know
time between batches.
And a few more questions coming in. In terms of controlled drugs, do you know if they can be sent the same way, or that might be a question we need to come back to?
I am not 100% sure. I just with the normal way of doing the controlled drugs, I don't know if someone else can answer this.
Sorry, Louise, I lost your sound.
Whether you use that button or not, are you allowed controlled drugs via email, or do you still have to do it another way? It doesn't. It's not really if you're allowed to do it in Socrates. I think you're allowed to do it in general. I don't, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been told that you're not allowed to use it.
Okay, it might be your pharmacist might be a good person to ask around that, just in case they have had any sort of guidance around what they can or can't do.
Yeah, because I haven't been told you're not allowed to, but you do have the capability of it working.
Okay.
But if you're told not to do it, then you don't do it.
Yeah. And look, with that one, it might be worth a call just to the pharmacy that you're planning to send it to, just in the first instance, to see if everything is okay and they have everything that they need.
Yes.
In terms, sorry, just going through other questions that we're getting here. One is saying, obviously, only a doctor can do prescriptions. That's the way it's set up at the moment. I do know that we are looking into trying to build out a phase 2 in terms of functionality for this that would let an admin staff maybe prepare repeat prescriptions and then pass them to the GP to authorize. But just there's we need to be sort of rock solid on the workflow and the process on that. So we will hopefully have an update for that in sort of a few weeks' time. But for the time being, yes, only the doctor can do prescriptions. And then, sorry, we just have another question on looking for an update on video consultations. We put this out in an email. Basically, what's happening with video consultations is we've just had to put it on hold to deliver this functionality. Obviously, our kind of developers are stretched pretty thin at the moment, and they're working as hard as they can to get you everything that they can at the moment. So we are still working on video consultations, but they have been delayed because we were working on this. What I would say to anyone is, I don't have a definite date that I can give you in terms of when we will have them, but we are working as hard as we can to get them out there. If anyone is looking to do video consultations at the moment, we would say, look, there's lots of systems out there that can work and do work well, but none of them will be integrated with your Socrates system. So we would say, look, if you need to do it straight away, go ahead and sign up with whatever system kind of works well for you. But try and make sure that you don't sign up for, say, a 12-month contract or a 24-month contract, because hopefully we're talking within sort of weeks rather than months, and we will have video consultations out in Socrates. So I appreciate that's not a great update, but that's the best update I can give you at the moment. So just going back to the questions, I think we've gotten through them all, Louise. I have to say that was brilliant. That was really helpful, and hopefully it should make things a bit easier. But look, I think the message is this is very much a phase 1 of what we're doing, and it works really well, but we will be working to make it better. So if there's any feedback that people want to share, please do flick it on, or any ways that it might work better for you guys or anything like that. But I think it's a really strong addition and should hopefully make things easier for you guys out there,
Yeah, just one other thing on it. Whoever isn't on this, it will be online, so doctors or whoever can look over it. But also, if you just want a quick manual inside of the system, if you go to help and go online help, it will bring you straight to our Socrates website. And a little bit down, the second manual down, there's one here called Healthmail Prescription GP Quick Guide. So if you click on that, that's a 4-page manual that someone can flick over, and it just basically a summary of what we've just done.
Great. Listen, thanks a million, Louise. That was great. And thanks to everybody who joined as well. Hopefully you found it useful. As Louise mentioned, this will be up on YouTube. So if you need to share it with colleagues or whatever like that, you should get a link to it in an email tomorrow, or else just log on to YouTube and search for Socrates Lunch and Learn, and all of our previous webinars are up there along with this one. It should be up there sort of by close of business today, I would guess. So look, thanks very much, everyone, and thanks again, Louise, and we will speak to you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.